Welcome to SelfCare Tuesdays with KKM. SelfCare Tuesdays with KKM is a podcast about three women with different lifestyles raising awareness on the importance of self-care to reach one's highest potential. Now here are your hosts, Kat, Krista, and Maria. Hey guys, we have Jody Domerstad here. She is the mother hen of Become Wholeness. She's a yoga teacher of 25 years and a meditation teacher. And today we are talking about neurosculpting.
Welcome, Jody.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's awesome. Thank you for, having us.
So talk to us about neurosculpting.
Well, first off,
Yes.
before we do that, I wanted to ask about how you got into neurosculpting, because we know that you're in this world of yoga for 25 years, meditation, and neurosculpting came in later.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to know, what
Your
the journey was. Yeah.
Okay. Through yoga, I traveled a lot and I met a few people in Colorado. And this one woman I saw was doing this form of meditation called neurosculpting with the Denver Broncos, one or two of them that have had concussions. And one of them she had worked with couldn't see color from the amount of concussions that he had suffered. And after 6 months, after a meditation, he said to her, "The meditation was great, I saw red." My friend started crying and he forgot that he couldn't see color, and then he realized that it was the first time that he was able to see color again. And my husband at the time was living in Colorado for school. He was going to Rolfing school, and for my birthday he bought me a gift of neurosculpting. He said, "I'm going to bring you to Boulder and we're going to do something called neurosculpting. It's equivalent to a shamanic journey." They said.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
And I thought, this is great because I love meditation. I thought it would be fun. But on the day, I was so exhausted and wasn't feeling well. I was dizzy. I was nauseous. I was severely depressed. I was, in his words, acting weird. And
You're like, that's just Jody on a Thursday.
yeah. It was unusual the way my behavior was. So we left Boulder and we never went. And that was 2013 in October.
Wow.
Fast forward to 2014, I woke up one day in January, still not feeling well. I went to work later to have a seizure, which led me to the hospital to find out I had a brain tumor.
Wow.
They told me it was small, you'll be out in 2 weeks, you'll be back to work. Perfect. 30 days later, I left the hospital due to some complications. It was a tumor in the prefrontal cortex on the left side.
Wow.
And it was affecting emotional stability, impulse control. That was interesting. I always thought I was just angry. Thank God I did yoga for so long because it helped me tame the anger that I did have and my impulsivity. I was very impulsive. I also struggled with planning, initiating. I wasn't able to start a project, or if I started a project, I could never finish it. And most of this led me to believe that I was unmotivated, I was depressed. This is why I stuck to yoga the way that I did. I took so many yoga trainings, philosophy trainings, energy trainings to heal myself, to try to figure out what was wrong. And all the while, the doctor said the tumor, after biopsying it, it's at least 10 years old, and it could have been even longer. And looking back, I remember in 2003 having a seizure. And my ex-boyfriend at the time, he said that he thought it was hypoglycemia because I couldn't talk.
Yeah.
I lost speech. My eyes dilated differently. He was a chiropractor.
So I'm like, was he a doctor?
No, he was a yes, he was a chiropractor. So he picked up on all that.
Yeah.
And he said to me, I had a head trauma in high school. And he said to me, I think that head trauma hurt your brain. He didn't say it that nicely, though. It wasn't that nice. But that's what he was saying. And so fast forward, I'm in the hospital, and I remembered my friend in Colorado. So I reached out to her, and I said, do you think neurosculpting can help me? And she said, absolutely. I looked into it, and I saw it was in Boulder. And meanwhile, my husband's still in Denver. He flew back for brain surgery. And after 3 months, he went back to school. I made him go back to school because I didn't want him to stop. And I pretty much had major support from the community.
That's awesome.
And if I needed rides to speech therapy and everything else. Once my blood clot dissolved, because a blood clot had formed, I got on a plane and I went to Colorado to be with him because I couldn't work, couldn't drive. And even if I took a bus to work, I'd be paying just for the bus, the income.
Yeah.
But I also suffered sensitivity. So being around a lot of people was not easy. And also talking for more than a half an hour was exhausting. Yeah. So I needed a lot of rest. So I went to Colorado, and coincidentally, Lisa Wimberger, the founder of Neurosculpting, moved to Denver.
Wow.
5 blocks away.
Oh, wow. Synchronicity at its finest, people. I talk about synchronicity a million times over. This is a perfect example for this.
That's amazing.
That's what I said to Dan. I said, what are the odds?
Yeah.
What are the odds? And being that I couldn't drive, plus we didn't have a car. Well, we had his car, but because of my seizures, I couldn't drive for a year. I'd walk, and I did privates with Lisa from probably the week I got there till the month we left, and we were there, I think 6 to 8 months we were there. I would do a private with her weekly, sometimes 2, and then I asked her if I could do the training. At first she said no, because she said, I don't think you're strong enough, and I don't think it would be good. But after the privates, and she got to know me and meet me, she allowed me to do the training. So I did level 1 for my own benefit. And then being I wasn't working, finances were tough. Somebody gifted me level 2. And then I know.
I love hearing that because that happens so much. And I'm waiting for my gift, people.
This is not about
just
you,
in case.
Krista. This is about Jody. No, I'm just kidding.
No, it's true. But this is not the first time, like when this is law of attraction. And I actually wanted to, because this is so in the world of law of attraction, what you need, what you get, what you receive is what you push out. But you're not the first person who needed something and was in synchronicity wise, it was given.
That's beautiful.
Right? And that is just really, really cool to input.
I think to add to that, if you don't mind, is it's what your soul really needs. If your soul really needs it, it wasn't a want as a sense of, oh, I need this training. It was my soul saying, you need this to heal. I never intended to teach this or to love it. My intention was to heal 100% and not have certain doctors or certain Western doctors, because there's amazing Western doctors. There's ones that saved my life, and there's also ones that accept and acknowledge my belief system. My one doctor told me I'd be on seizure meds the rest of my life, and I said, absolutely not.
Good
no
for
way.
you.
And he said, good luck finding someone to take you off your seizure meds, because one day you may have a seizure. One day? One day?
Yeah.
One day.
Yeah.
Well, and what is your...
The ratio, like...
Yeah, I asked him, what is your belief based on?
Yeah.
You had a brain tumor. Okay. You had a seizure. I had a seizure because I had a brain tumor. I'd never had seizures before. And his belief was, well, you have scar tissue. And scar tissue could lead to a seizure. I said, could. If I had a seizure, would I stutter to death? Because it was a stuttering, I had a stuttering seizure. I mean, what, And I lost feeling of my arm. I mean, it's not, God forbid, a grand mal seizure.
Yeah. I know what
So
you're saying.
anyway, I believe that my soul needed that. So then also the community was raising money for me. And a woman locally, Christine Deer, her leggings are called K-Deers. They're very well known now. She was selling something called the Jody stripe. And whoever bought the leggings, I got 5%. And so the money that she gave me went to the certification.
She's a crier. She's a crier in a group, and she's going to start crying. Every episode she cries.
I do. That's beautiful.
Although I did tear earlier. I did. But yeah.
So, but
awesome.
real quick, for those that don't know what neurosculpting is, can you explain what it is?
Yeah. So neurosculpting, I like to think of it as a dynamic meditation. In difference to, I study Vipassana meditation and Buddhism, some Buddhist meditation, and Vedantic. These are all just different philosophies.
Got it.
That's all it is. And when you boil down every philosophy, they all come down to one thing. It's about reconnecting with your soul. It just depends which path you choose. The Hindi path, the Buddhist path, Taoism. I've studied all of them because it's what interests me. It's beautiful.
That's awesome.
When someone says we're going to teach you meditation, even John Kabat-Zinn has his form of meditation, which is in many hospitals now. It's a mindfulness base. All of these will have you sit and look to find stillness and to quiet the mind. Neurosculpting is the opposite of that. It's not to quiet the mind. It's to down-regulate the stress in the brain and where it sits. So the first part of neurosculpting is to down-regulate the limbic system. And in the limbic system, in the middle of the brain, it's the prehistoric brain. It's the oldest part of the brain.
Is that where the pineal gland
Yes.
is? Yes.
It's where the amygdala sits. And what the amygdala and the hippocampus, a few of these guys make up the limbic system. And millions of years ago, that's all we had. Hence, all we could do is fight, flight, or freeze. It was based on survival. We also have 5 times more negative receptors in our brain, meaning out of all the receptors you have, 5 times more are geared toward negativity.
That's why I remember we spoke about this other. It's proven that we retain trauma and negativity a lot quicker than the positive moments.
It's easier.
It's easier to do so because obviously this is what it is.
And that makes sense. You guys learned something today.
And the beautiful thing is, the science of it is this: the limbic system is a parallel processor. So it's picking up stimulus everywhere very quickly, quicker than light, in a second's time.
Well, these are where the sensors are.
Yes.
The amygdala.
Wow.
And the other thing is, it lives on sugar and carbohydrates. So
That's interesting.
So
if you're craving sugar or carbs, you're in that state. You're in the high stress state.
Wow.
And if you keep eating them,
I'm an emotional
if
eater.
you're stressed and you want to eat sugar or carbohydrates because you think they make you feel good, what they're doing is they're helping to keep releasing the adrenaline and the cortisol, the hormones, to help you, because they think you're in trouble. And if your body thinks you're not in trouble anymore, it has to detox adrenaline and cortisol. And the detox phase is not fun. Most people don't realize that you have to detox it. You could sleep it off. You could shake it off, physically get up and shake like a dog does. But sleeping it off, it could take 18 to 24 hours for, if you just get cut off and you're emotionally affected, that stays with you.
Yeah.
And so this is why my teacher, Lisa Wimberger, who founded Neurosculpting, works with police officers. Think about all of the adrenaline that they live off of and cortisol, and then they retire. Now they have all of this still in their system. They either have to detox it or get rid of it.
Wow.
And if they don't detox it, that's
and
why.
Neurosculpting gets rid of it?
Yes.
How so?
So the first
process.
There's one. The first step 1 is down regulating. It's called the induction. And what it does in the induction is it teaches you consistency, predictability, and safety. teaches us how to create and cultivate that on our own. Because if you don't feel safe, you can't change a neural pathway. You can't, if you're in the middle brain, you cannot logically make a decision or see the bigger picture, because that sits in the front brain, the prefrontal cortex. And the prefrontal cortex, the front of the brain, and the midbrain share blood flow.
Wow.
So if you're in fear, all glucose, oxygen, and blood flow is feeding your fear. And you could be saying, no, I got this. Logically, I could figure it out. You're lying to yourself. Because to be logical, you have to find consistency, predictability, and safety, and then novelty. I wonder what it would feel like to feel safe in this moment. I wonder what another possibility would be. Now, you could even hear in my voice how the body starts to calm.
It's funny because in NLP, I do NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, and that is one of our number one questions when we have a client who is in a survival mode. Is we put them in a state of, it's basically another word of like, down regulating, and it's, I wonder how we are going to go through through this. I wonder what resources do we have within ourselves to get through this.
Wow.
Right. So that it's really cool, because when I did read up on neurosculpting and I saw the process, I was like, wow, it's very similar into the questioning and the ability to rise this going into the frontal brain instead of that survival mode.
Even energetics. Because, I do energy work. I love energy work. And the first thing, if you're very sensitive, if you feel something, I wonder if this is mine. If you're around someone who's angry, this isn't mine, this isn't mine. Look how much goosebumps I'm getting, because I say that all the time. It's, I wonder if this is mine. No, it's not. Well, then you need to go. Because if you ask the question, you can calm yourself. So neurosculpting, I like to think about it as self-talk, really is. And I work with people that, one woman had a massive heart attack in her late 30s. Wow. I work with someone who has post-traumatic stress. I work with depression. I work with people with brain tumors.
That's amazing.
It's neurosculpting is amazing, because what it teaches you when you understand too is we are designed physically and physiologically to pick up negativity, fight or flight. When we're cavemen, right, millions of years ago, you're not thinking, oh, look at the daisies. You're thinking, is there a T-Rex gonna, chew me up and spit me out, right? But we have never broken that, and that's where meditation comes in. This idea of training ourselves to slow down, to pause. And so in the induction, we talk people through breathing. And it's not take a deep breath. It's, I wonder what it would feel like to take a deep breath. You're not telling someone what to do, because that could add stress. Because what if someone's like, I don't want to take a deep breath. Now you're scaring them.
Well, my brother who suffers from PTSD, and they're actually, I told you, the VA is actually now integrating, which I'm really happy about, complementary alternative medicine for these soldiers and these Marines and this military personnel who are suffering from PTSD. And they're actually integrating meditation into the practice. Meditation, I as we've said in the meditation episode, there's so many different ways to get there. Okay, there's breathing techniques, there's that zero sensory baths, all of that. However, when I did mention it to my brother, he just locked up and he was like, I don't breathe, okay? Don't tell me to breathe. Don't. And he locked up, and I said, okay, none of that is gonna, we're just gonna back off, and it's true.
I remember my brain surgery, so I could hear the drill. I remember what the doctors were saying.
So you're awake at that?
No, I was out, but I remember. Some people hear things. I remember when the anesthesiologist was pulling the tube out of my throat and she was saying, breathe. I was above me saying, I ain't coming back. It's too nice here. I am not coming back.
You dissociated. Yes. I've done that before.
I kind of heard everything. And for a while, if someone showed a picture of a brain, I'd post-traumatic stress. And when I go to a yoga class and the teacher says to me, inhale love, exhale let it go, in my mind, I want to say, screw you.
Yeah.
I can't let it go.
Yeah.
And we need to understand people with post-traumatic stress, people with anxiety. I mean, I had a panic attack. I thought I was going to die. I've never had that. So here I am 25 years studying yoga, studying meditation. You know, you have your world rocked. Yeah. And you wake up one day and don't leave a hospital for 30 days, or God forbid someone passes away, a job change, divorce, all these things, and you tell someone let it go.
No,
or,
no.
Or a veteran. I met an amazing veteran in yin training, and we talked about this. He started a whole program for veterans, but it's yin is so common.
Yin is awesome
and helpful. But what we talked about too is.
But even yin, there's times where I, in the middle of yin, I'm like, fuck this shit.
Yeah.
I'm not fucking holding this pose for another fucking minute.
Yeah. That's why I use neurosculpting. I use neurosculpting in my yin.
Yeah, I have to literally go to that state before I step into that yin class.
Yeah. So what we do is, the first step is to calm the limbic system through safety, predictability, and consistency. We never say close your eyes. You can lie down, you can sit up, you can be in a fetal position. We don't care what you do. And I believe if you fall asleep, that's what your body needs. Your soul is hearing it, and your soul will do with it what it needs.
Right.
And when you're ready to stay awake for all of it, you'll figure it out. But it's in your own time.
Now, I saw on your website, becomeonewholeness.com, right? That you integrate with yoga?
Yes.
So you do neurosculpting while you're doing yoga?
You could. There's something called neurosculpting yoga, but I do just a neurosculpting class every Monday night.
Okay.
Every Monday night.
We'll be here Monday night?
Yeah.
Yes.
We started it a couple weeks ago, and I have women that have not missed it. And if you come, you'll meet the young woman who had the massive heart attack. And we've been working on her dealing with her anxiety and stress with it. And she said, it's so helpful. It's not there yet. And I said, okay, it's like 9 weeks. Of course it's not going to be there. Yeah. But let me go back to first step is to calm down.
Right.
And until you can create safety, you will not be able to change the neural pathway. So after safety is created, we then say to you, this is your meditation. You can change it, craft it, design it any way you want to, because you're the one who has to live with it.
Yeah.
So it gives you the freedom, and now you're still in control, which most people that suffer from and by suffering, I mean something that happens in which you have no skill set to handle or deal with. When that happens, people feel they lose control. You want to put control back in their hands. Let them decide.
Yeah.
So then we say, bring up something that you want to sculpt or release. And say you don't know what you want to release. We ask you, well, I wonder what color it would be. What texture is it? Is there a smell? Is there a symbol? I wonder. Well, it feels bubbly. Okay. Is there a color? Yeah, the bubbles are black and it feels like it's just stuck in my throat. Oh, I wonder if you could list 2 or 3 words that would describe it. Anxiety.
And then it kind of pulls it out of them that way.
Well, it connects you to the right brain, which is colors, textures, creativity, listing and spelling words, the left brain. So now we brought something up and we're stimulating the right and the left side of the brain to make a connection.
To the midbrain?
To make a connection, to start to talk to each other, to say...
You're basically trying, because there's 3 parts of the brain, right? Mid, frontal, left, right. And so it's like you're basically integrating all of it together.
There's one part of the brain that touches in the middle, and that's it. The corpus callosum. That's where it touches. So you have the left and the right side, but they only meet here. And there's even a visualization that we do that there's tunnels going through the midbrain and how you can connect both sides of the brain. So once we pull up, the idea is you want the neural pathway to be awakened in both sides of the brain so that you can restructure it. Then we say, I wonder if it sits in the body. Do you feel it? And if you do, you can tap with your non-dominant hand. Because the non-dominant hand makes you go to the prefrontal cortex and say, wait a minute, I don't know how to use this guy. I mean, what am I doing? This is new. If you're doing something new, you're pulling resources from the front of the brain. You can't be in fear.
Oh, because you're in a logical sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
So then you dance. We dance back and forth between the right and the left. And then finally we say, I wonder how you would, if you could, in this moment, shift it or move it. Sometimes I pretend that I have little scrubbing bubbles inside me, and they just scrub away. Sometimes I pretend the angels are coming and moving it. You have to be willing to have fun.
Yeah.
Because...
Well, first of all, in any of this type of work, you have to be willing to allow, energetic-wise, that you are, in this sense, allowing yourself to open up to this world of therapy, this world of healing.
Yeah.
Okay, because a lot of this, yes, we're talking about brain and where everything states, but at the end game, the work game here that requires from you is your energy and your allowance to open yourself up to this world. That's awesome. And it's really cool.
I think another beautiful thing is the brain doesn't know what's real or fake.
Yes, and we know that with
and people don't
with
get
narcissists.
That. No. Yeah, people think. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to pretend an angel. Sometimes I pretend I have a love gun. And if you're in my bubble, I'm going to shoot you with the gun.
I love it.
But they're hard.
She's like they're hard. Love and gun. Yes, love and gun.
I love it.
I turned it into a love gun. But if you're not willing to be playful, the brain doesn't know what's real or fake. So if I'm pulling up brain surgery from 3 years ago, I'm going to feel it as if it was happening now.
Right.
Because my body doesn't understand it's not. So I have to that's the idea of down regulating. Jody, you're 40, that was 3 years ago, and that's the memory. So what they're saying now is it's not what happened to you, it's how you remember it. So it's about reframing.
That's what Maya Angelou, right? It's not about what you said, it's how you made them feel.
Yeah.
But it also, in my world of energy world and what I do with Selfish, it's your mind is amazing, like mind/egos, it's protective nature. It will keep you going, but the body cannot lie.
Yeah.
The body's full reaction will come through, and it's your job to listen. And for you to listen is you have to be able to be not in a high stress state.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And to talk to yourself.
To talk, exactly. It's a lot of self-talk, a lot of breathing. I mean, with the book, this is why I'm so adamant about the book that's coming out, because this is important. That's the first that's the preface of the book, is just this ability to, when I had a PTSD moment, I was able to be in a car. It's scary. And I was able to pull to the side and get into a nice, calm state. Now, I know not everyone can do that, but you can.
No,
everyone can do that, okay? And that's the thing that, that I actually woke up with this. It's like, we don't give ourselves enough credit. We don't give ourselves enough credit how we are super beings. Okay, we have all this power, and even with Jody with the neurosculpting, Kat with the life coaching, me with the mediumship and therapy. We do this not because we're gonna tell you how to heal. We guide you because it's already within you. Yeah, you have these superpowers within you. Yeah. Right. And so this is why the self-care Tuesdays has even come up.
Yeah. I have a question. How can you open someone up to neurosculpting that's not open to it?
One of the things I love is that this is based out of scientific proof. So a lot of things that I find that are challenging is if you go to someone and it's airy-fairy. Now, I believe in everything airy-fairy. I believe, I see things, I like you, with energy work, I believe in that. But if I'm talking, I gave a lecture to 40 doctors and nurses, I'm not going to talk about Jesus Christ standing in the corner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Angels hugging me.
They'll look at you like, really?
Yeah. And, well,
the brain doesn't know what's real or not, okay?
But what I do is I talk to them on the basis that it's been proven there's neuroplasticity.
Yeah.
Anything can shift. And they told me I would be on seizure meds. I was weaned off and working with neurosculpting, I had no side effects. I have no seizures, no side effects. I was off my blood thinners before they even could blink because I did visualization that there was blood moving through the pathway.
Amazing.
I've learned to speak. The things that I've done with neurosculpting, it just proves to me anyone can do it. The only thing that is challenging is the person, I think, also has to be a little capable and willing to deal with what comes up. And I don't think you can really force someone to do that.
Oh,
yeah.
That's
the
tricky thing. Because I remember someone who used to tell me stories. He was in the Bronx in the EMT, my friend's boyfriend, and the stories that this guy would tell me. And then one time, he roughed my friend up, and everyone thinks, well, he's a bad guy. I think you see enough of that crap, that's what you're going to do. Or even the football players.
Yeah.
No one realizes what a concussion can do to someone.
Yeah.
But with neuroplasticity, if you believe it, you can make it heal. The brain, we know 5% of what the brain does. And even when I asked my doctor...
it went down to 5%. I thought it was 10%.
I thought it was 10.
Really? It could be. It could be. Yeah, it could definitely be.
All I know is just...
But we know...
It's a lot
minimal.
less than what we could do.
And we think that everything is limited. But there's a story in Dr. Doji's book, Norman Doji, where he speaks of a woman who had a stroke and couldn't talk. But she was a speaker for a living. 6 months later, she was speaking again. Because different parts of the brain remember how to do that. They can't figure out where it's localized.
Well, remember that, did I mention that in the other podcast where the guy, he hit his head he dove into the swimming pool. He had a concussion.
Oh, no, you didn't.
And when he came back, he was in a coma for like a week. When he woke up, he knew how to play the piano. Like Mozart, or
wow.
Yeah, like Beethoven, and he just was something with that little tap had awakened something in his brain. Ericksonian, he's this man who created the hypnosis technique. He was paralyzed, and he was able to heal himself through meditation and brain work.
I think it helps.
It's amazing. These stories, there's so many stories out there that you got, like, if anyone is even, and I'm just like Jody, I like the fact checking and the science behind it, because it really, it's not about, spirituality is here and science is here. It's one. It's one. It's inspired. One is inspired by the other. One is inspired by the other always.
I think I go very much that route, and I also explain to people, if you feel that you're very negative, congratulations, you're human. We all are. Like that helped change my world, because I used to think, why every time am I ready to fight or flight? Well, that's ingrained. Plus, then
conditioning.
you have childhood conditioning,
yes.
right? I mean, there's so much to it. Not making an excuse, but anything is possible. And so if you get someone who really wants to heal and is willing, this is not easy.
I know, because it's a journey.
There's times where...
And things will come up.
I was suicidal, and Lisa Wimberger was calling me and emailing me every single day and said, I'm not going to do this for you. You have to do it. And I was like, oh, come on. Can't you clear me?
Give me a pill?
She does energy work too. She doesn't really tell people about that. I'm like, can't you just clear me? Or no. And that really is what taught me how much is possible. She would not do it for me.
That's great.
Look at you now. Tools and use them. And I have one student here brought her husband once. He came, he tried neurosculpting, he left. And I asked her about her husband the other day. She said, he neurosculpts all the time. All the time. One time he learned techniques. And what he uses the most is, I wonder why I'm so upset. I wonder why I'm afraid. I wonder why I'm so angry. That's what this does. If you're willing to say, I wonder why I'm a jerk. Yeah. But most people are afraid to admit that they're a jerk.
It's like that's stuck. So the stress is a stuck state.
Yes.
Right. In the meta state is the wonder, and the resourceful state is where you found that resourceful state that you can now overcome that stuck state. Which is, but it's a process. It's not, and it takes practice. And again, everything that we say here, these are practices that will become habits if you put in the work.
And
if you put in the
neurosculpting
work.
can be done driving. I've done it driving because I've
Really?
I've had post-traumatic stress
Krista's like,
when I'm driving. So I do neurosculpting driving. I could be doing it now. When I was at Krista
salon,
just cut my hair, I was sculpting.
She was having
I was having severe chest pains, sensory overload. Kids were there. They're adorable. But if I don't feel well, and I have some new health things going on that we're figuring out, it would take a lot for me to get dressed and put myself in a car alone. I sculpt it. I don't let it stop me. I drove I took a bus into the city with a full-on panic attack, and I kept sculpting, saying, you're safe, you're well enough to be here in the moment, you're breathing, the breath is breathing you, you're talking to yourself, which means you're alive, and then all of a sudden you go, oh my God, I wonder what this is about.
So is it possible that people are neurosculpting and not even realizing?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Because I am claustrophobic on the bus or the train. It's crazy, and I have to talk myself out of it. You're okay. It's going to move. So is that
Yes,
what
you're doing
neurosculpting
the first step. You're not changing the pathway, but you're creating safety. That's the first step. And now what you can do once you start to create that safety and realize on some level you start to now look at, I wonder why I'm claustrophobic, or I wonder why I'm feeling this way. That's how you would start to shift that neural pathway. But safety is, if you do not feel safe, then you can't change any neural pathway because you're in the limbic system. And this is why novelty is awesome. So sometimes after teaching all day, I want to go home and watch Sebastian. I can't pronunciate his last name. He's a hysterical comedian.
Maniscalco. Yes. Yeah, I love him.
I just would love to go.
There's nobody embarrassed anymore. I love him.
When he talks about Chipotle's.
Yeah.
I just laugh.
I love him. He's so awesome.
Or I watch Disney movies. I watch things that make me laugh. Because the novelty is what gets us out of fight or flight. I wonder, curiosity and laughing and having fun, learning things.
Yeah.
This is so cool.
My dear friend and mentor that I met when I was in my teens, she used to own the very yoga studio that we're in now. She was teaching psychic senses class. And to my teacher trainers, I teach yoga teacher trainings, and I feel it's very important for them. Psychic doesn't mean you're talking to dead people, by the way. It means, and you guys know that because of Krista, but I want them to be in touch with how they get their instinct. Because some people hear it, see it, touch it, smell it. I want them, because when you're working with people, I think it's important so that you can help people feel safe on another level. So when she was talking about what she does for herself, I wonder if this is mine. If not, how do I move it? I said, that's neurosculpting.
That's cool.
And she said, and we started to talk about it. So yes, it's very similar to many other things because I study with Gary Kroftzau, Tantric Vedantic philosophy. And what he was teaching was the same thing. The first step is to calm yourself. And then he does something called Bhuta Shuddhi, which moves through the chakras, but using the chakras in depth psychology. It's the same thing. I wonder what it feels like to
we
be
speak about
touched.
Again, like all different philosophies, all different modalities, but there's this basis.
And how you hear it. The reason I have students isn't because I'm the best. It's because those students resonate with me.
Yes.
Your audience
That's
resonates
why there's no
with
competition.
There's no competition.
Exactly.
Inherently, there's really no competition.
There's none.
Because it's
there's
call me
someone
woo
for
woo,
everyone.
but I'm always be like, the universe, I'm ready for some clients, and universe, I'm so not ready for clients. Right? But it really is an energy resonance.
So this is
so cool, though. I really love that.
I have to say that neurosculpting to me has been, if not one of the most empowering things I've ever learned for self-care, and on every level. At night, after doing a workshop or teaching, I go home and I clear the energy of everyone's, and I call back my energy. And some people say that's energy work. It is, but it's also neurosculpting. Some nights I go home and I rebalance my brain so that the right side is calmer because I need to be intellectual and planning. Sometimes I'm clearing my body. It's a self-care tool that I use every single day. And for the longest time, I probably used it every 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And there are days when I need it I wonder why I'm tired. And even now, having some health concerns, that's the first thing that I do is I'm calling back all my energy from whatever is happening.
That's very brave of you for going through all this physical stuff that's going on with you right now. Yeah. That's another podcast.
That's another 10 podcasts.
But that's very brave of you to work the physical and the mind and the spirit. This is the three pillars. The mind, body, and spirit, aligning it all. And and Jody's doing that, and it's amazing.
I admire you for dealing with it, because people will go through things and not deal with it, and you're dealing with it head on. That's amazing.
Admirable.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And she's teaching this.
And you're sharing
doing this,
it with others so they can heal as well. That's beautiful.
But you're never done, right? You mentioned this earlier, and I always say, I'd rather be a work in progress. As if I'm breathing, if I'm waking up every morning and I have breath in me, I'm not done. I am a work in progress. You could never be too freaking awake or enlightened or whatever they call it, right? Right? Because every day in this earth school is a lesson and an experience. And I'd rather be that than be hung up on somebody's wall as a masterpiece. Yeah. To be just walked around over.
Pretending takes so much energy. I rather be where I'm at, and people really see that some days walking up a flight of stairs is exhausting. It doesn't mean that I'm out of shape. I don't take care of myself. And even if people thought that, I don't really care what you think.
Yeah. Because you own your energy. Yes. You own it. And if everybody else owns theirs.
And I love this idea of self-care because I don't know for you ladies, but I was never taught that.
Oh, no, we weren't.
I was never taught how to care for myself. And until I loved who I was in all the brokenness and the fragmentedness and the little parts of me that I wasn't accepting, until I was able to look at those and then sculpt them and even retrieve them and talk to them. Sculpting's about talking to those parts of yourself. There's so many layers of this that are nourishing, healing, and harmless, can I say, because you don't have to remember the memory. You can color it, jazz it up, and shift it, and you don't even have to know what you're shifting.
Well, that's the great thing about looking back, right? And when you're doing the self-care process, you could bring up the 7-year-old that that went through something, but you could look at it, you could look at her, bring her up from a state of objectivity. You have to allow yourself to feel. You have to allow yourself to feel.
Absolutely.
But the best part of neurosculpting, right, or in this state now, is that you are allowing this to feel, but not having it take over. You're aware.
Yes, and staying present in your body, and that's one of the biggest things. It's not. This isn't. Hey, we're going to leave our bodies. We're gonna learn to go into the upper chakras.
We're not going to watch the whole brain tumor. Leave our Jody, you crack me up with that story.
I know. But remember, I had a woman say to me, this is another story. Don't you think you could have did it holistically? You really had to have brain surgery. And I said to the woman in such a loving way, go get a brain tumor, stick it in your prefrontal cortex, and then you let me know how you did it. Listen, Western medicine was made for a reason.
Absolutely.
And there would have been a point where they said it would have been inoperable. And then I would have had to been, God forbid, on drugs or meds to try to control my emotional and mental state. It wasn't just physical. But there's ways that we can take control of our response to things. And that's what this neurosculpting can help. And so if anything that your listeners take away is, when you get worked up, are you breathing? And if you're not, can you take a few deep breaths? Can you also find ways that you feel safe? My feet are on the floor. I'm well enough to be talking to myself. For instance, you were well enough to be standing in the subway. You're safe. But your story's
I breathe,
not.
though. See? I do. To get over it, I breathe.
And so you find the ways, and then you add novelty. Oh, I wonder what it would feel like to notice my right eyelash on the, my right upper eyelash. well, that's weird. And that's what we'll say.
You know, when she said novelty, I automatically was like, wow, for this, I'm going to go get myself an ice cream.
Yeah. Because yay! I love it.
I got out of that stuck state. I'm going to reward myself with some ice cream. By the way, when I brought up my 7-year-old, she was an eater. And I realized that she found comfort in food.
Oh, who didn't?
Oh, I do.
It's crazy. That's another thing. But
that's a whole nother 10 podcasts.
I know.
So how can people find you?
Well, 25 years ago, when I opened the studio, there was no such thing as social media. So I'm better at it now. Okay. I'm better. But we opened a new studio. It's in Lyndhurst, New Jersey. It's called Become Wholeness, and becomeonewholeness.com is the website. There's also Jody with a Y, Domerstad.com, which is my personal website.
That's the one that I went on.
Yeah. And there's at Jody Domerstad is my Instagram, and same as Facebook. I am, since before brain surgery, I was affected in planning and preparing and doing a lot of little projects. After has just been about healing, and I'm on 3 years, and I'm finally just starting to...
Perfect timing.
To
all divine synchronicity.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Especially with what is happening. But in the planets...
In the planet
now. Yeah, it's great for perfect.
I know.
So
21st,
we're only open a year, and we're going to be having a grand opening party where all the classes will be free in October.
Wow. We'll put that up on our site. Jody, thank you so much for being on the show with us. You are amazing. I'm excited to just follow your journey. I'm just going to be right here. I'm never leaving. I don't ever want to go anywhere.
We're just going to keep this table here.
Yeah, we're just going to be right here. No, I'm excited. Coming
in Neurosculpting class will be like an anchor.
Exactly.
Jody is now saying.
You're more than welcome to stay. When we opened this studio, our intention was that this studio would be based on love and a safe place for people to come and experience themselves in whatever way that looks like. And that's what we get. We don't have 30, 40 people a class, and that's not our intention. Our intention is to have people organically come and find us and never want to leave. And we have, I would say, probably about 25 people that are that will never go anywhere.
That's awesome.
Yes, and that's what we want we want a family. So you're more than welcome to stay here because we love that.
I love it.
I love that type of intention.
Your space is beautiful.
Yeah, the space is beautiful.
I can't wait to do a video.
Yeah, the video
where you can talk about all the floor. I mean, it's just amazing. Yeah, so follow her Instagram, and we will see you in 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
And that's it, guys. Thanks so much for listening to Self-Care Tuesdays with KKM. We look forward to sharing with you guys again in 2 weeks. If you need to get in touch with us before then, you can head over to our website, www.selfcaretuesdays.com, and all our social handles are there. You can email us, whatever you need. We're here. Thanks again so much for listening. It was fun sharing. We'll talk to you guys soon.